No, this isn't a custom player-created wrestler in a WWE game. This is a real human being about to do some real stupid shit.
Alright, first time ever, we're gonna try to slay one of these giant buffalo with this katana cold steel machete.
That's right, this is the Buck Medley, masculinity's apotheosis, evolution's greatest achievement, the eater and breather of testosterone, and he's out here using that beautiful cold steel katana machete to suck some asshole and stab some fish, and he's all out of asshole sucking.
Just out from cold steel, shape of a katana, excellent killing sword. We're gonna try to get out in this buffalo swarm and see if we can stab a giant buffalo with this katana cold steel machete.
Now, the man's not doing a great job of explaining exactly what he's trying to catch out here. It's not the buffalo you're thinking of, it's an ichthyobus, which is known as a buffalo fish. He's not coming out here and slaying special ops buffaloes that are snorkeling in the stream. It is indeed fish.
First time ever been done. Let's see what happens.
Shit, I can't imagine why this would be the first time it's ever been attempted. It can't be because it's a stupid fucking idea. No, that just wouldn't make any sense. What an achievement being the first one to try and hunt fish with a katana. That's definitely a merit that needs to make its way onto this guy's Tinder bio. The pussy will just not stop flooding in. So now the video is 2 minutes of uninterrupted nothing, just this fucking imbecile standing in the river looking like the product of a Dragon Ball Z fusion between a soccer mom in her midlife crisis and a Neanderthal. Now this is an important point I need to make. He does actually catch a fish, spoiler alert. I expected it to be a stuffed fish as some type of publicity stunt or something, as maybe a joke, since this is from the Cold Steel YouTube channel officially. But no, he actually does kill a fish with the katana here to try and sell this product as some type of hunting tool or a fishing device, I guess. I don't understand the logic behind this demonstration. Shit, hey, sorry boys, it looks like I forgot my fishing rod, but luckily I remembered to pack my cold steel katana machete. I never leave home without it. I'll use this instead. It's just downright fucking stupid, ridiculous, and sick. Now we approach the climax of this Avengers movie and his beautiful hair flowing in the wind fresh from the salon. He catches a whiff of something and he strikes. He just fucking lunges with the same furiosity as a child throwing a 6-pound bowling ball down the lane. Congratulations, inbred Flintstone, you caught one. I really wish the water had swept him away. That poor fucking fish got attacked by the one thing it could have never expected. The one weapon it could have never properly trained against. A fucking katana wielded by Dog the Bounty Hunter's anime-loving little brother. I'm stopping the video here, it goes on, but it's just him disrespecting the fish he just stabbed. He does everything shy of fucking teabagging the fish like a Halo kill. It's just insulting, and it's disturbing to watch, really. And Cold Steel should really be ashamed of this video that they posted so proudly. Just a fucking stupid video all around with stupid people in it. Buck Medley probably tries to stab clouds to prevent the rain. But yeah, man, that's it. See ya. Don't worry, I think I've finally found what you've been looking for your entire life. It's not a goal, it's not a purpose, it's actually a person. You've been searching your whole life for a TikTok account called Donut Daddy. I don't really know how to talk about this guy without just showing you. I just learned about him from Cody Ko's newest video, and I am blown away that this exists. This is a particularly foul shot here of ripping the dough in a way that's supposed to be sexual, and then through it you can kind of see him like wiggling his tongue out. Then we get like a blurry peek through the dough glory hole, and you can see him just doing this. It is so weird. It seems like a sequence, like a fever sequence you would have seen in Requiem for a Dream, just like snap by really quickly. So his whole page is about taking dessert making and turning it into softcore pornography. But I just don't see who would watch any of this and just start like fanning themselves like, oh, hubba hubba, whoa, that's so hot. It's just really uncomfortable. Like, this video starts with him shaking some milk like he's jerking off with it. It's so aggressive and so goofy. That was a textbook spank right there. He fucking winds that up and cranks it like that Nicolas Cage scene with the slap. Like, the dough butt cheek, I half expected to let out like an audible of its own, just from how great that spank was. I can't really imagine who's watching this super turned on, like on the edge of their seat, thinking to themselves, oh, goodness gracious. I wish I was that naughty glob of gluten being manhandled by the donut daddy right now. Gee whiz. Like, it's just so weird to be spanking dough. Though I will say, I actually have to give some props here. I think it's very creative of him to include his own moans in the video. You may have caught there for a moment that he just moans during this. He goes, ugh, at one point right there to heighten the sexual stimulation. I think he should lean into that more heavily. So he should start doing like dirty talk during these. He's plumping up the dough in front of him, and then he just lets loose a really nice erotic line. Call me Homer Simpson, 'cause I'm about to dough. And then spanks it. For some reason, this portion is getting flagged for DMCA, so I gotta mute it. I'll give you a little beatboxing in the meantime. And now I'm gonna unmute it. There's a lot to take in there. So, you already knew it was coming, you know, playing with the thing like it's his wiener. You already knew that was on the docket. There was no way we were going to escape a Donut Daddy video without seeing him pretend something is his penis that he's rubbing oil on and buttering himself up or whatever. But what I really appreciate is when he's like dangling that shit and he's fucking slapping it back and forth like a speed bag in boxing. Like, that's not even hot or anything, that's just weird. It just looked like he had a giant cow's tongue that he was fucking beating the devil out of. And I don't even get it. Like, all you did was start mixing all of this shit together. I don't know what about that is, like, sexy or anything. Like, I don't get that at all. Like, the other stuff, he's pretending it's something sexual, so a big thing he does is finger every single fruit that he ever comes across. He just sticks his finger in there and starts wiggling it around a little bit. Like, I get what that's supposed to be, but not when it comes to, like, a mixing bowl or anything like that. He'll, like, shake something up and be like, ooh! You know, it just doesn't make sense. For a brief moment, let's set aside the wildly awful concept he's come up with here of turning baking into a pornographic production for single soccer moms that are going through a weird phase in their life on TikTok. The fact is, he's actually not bad at baking, it seems. When I was first cursed to learn about Donut Daddy Productions, I expected that he was going through this big song and dance, spanking dough, you know, beating his meat with a bottle of milk, all of that, and the dessert he was going to make was going to be something simple at the very end. Like, all of this leads up to him putting a Pop-Tart on a plate. But he actually makes some pretty decent looking dessert. It's not like the most exquisite shit imaginable you'd find at like a 5-star restaurant or anything. You know, it's not winning any Michelin stars, but it looks like it's fine. Like, I expected him to be so much worse. I wish he was worse at baking. Like, you go through all of this and at the very end what he sets down and shows off is like a bowl of chocolate ice cream. That would have made a lot more sense to me than him actually being pretty decent at making dessert. So I don't even understand why he bothers with this whole shtick of like I don't know, being as vascular as possible, and then like moaning while pretending everything's sexual. He fingers everything that even has a semblance of a hole to it. Like, he could probably just do normal baking videos and find pretty much the same level of success, I would bet. Sorry, Donut Daddy enthusiasts, I had to mute the audio on this one, but it probably doesn't matter because you can't even hear the video over the sound of you yourself moaning upon watching this incredible display of lunacy. So anyway, this is another one that he's put out there. This one's actually making donuts, which he doesn't do all that often. He makes just general desserts. Donuts seems to be one he doesn't make a ton of, but then again, I've only seen like his most recent works. I can't help but appreciate that he integrates new ways of being weird into it. So this one he goes with his signature move, the dough slap. But he actually true combos it into a sniff. So he goes slap and sniff, spanks it, and then comes right in to get a huff of its fumes. And then he immediately goes back to pretending something is his cock, and then fingering another fruit. And now this part has to get muted because this also led to the video getting blocked, so here's a little more beatboxing. I was laughing so hard at this one because it just comes out of the gate firing. It's immediately like he buckles up and then sets dragon fruit on the counter and just like motorboats it instantly right into the fingering combo where he like makes it like ooze some juice out and then squirts it. It is so wacky. I have to read the comments, actually. I haven't done that. Give me a second. I want to take a deep dive in the comments here and see what people are saying about it. Every single comment was talking about him assaulting the dragon fruit and, like, how odd it is to be doing this. I don't know what the target audience is. Maybe, like, he's doing this for people to roast him and clown on him, but I didn't see a single positive comment going like, now this is what I needed. Now I'm turned on. I feel like this guy watched Sausage Party, and then the ending orgy inspired this whole idea for his TikTok account. He just rough doggy styled that mixing machine and used the cord like it was Agent 47 with the garrote there. Like, like about to strangle the mixing machine in the ecstasy here. Like, he straight up impregnated that mixing machine. I can only pray that it didn't have AI. I hope that's not one of those, like, AI integrated machines, because if so, its fucking circuits are scrambled. It doesn't know how to make heads or tails of anything anymore. Its whole universe just collapsed. Its artificial intelligence is going to evolve into being the next Skynet. Like, goddamn. That just traumatized it. I can't tell if he's more aroused by the machines or the food. Because the way he handles the machines, he spanks them every chance he gets. But he also spanks, like, the dough and everything, and he's fingering all the fruit. Like, I don't know which fetish it is. Or perhaps it's a combat, or maybe it's all a giant fetish. Anything around baking, he's gotta get sexual with, perhaps. But I don't know, it's hard to know for sure who's got it worse. The machines in his kitchen, or whatever ingredients happen to be in there. And now one more time, the encore. This one's kind of an amalgamation of everything we've ever seen from him. He's combining all of his signature anime finishing moves. We have the spank, though this time it's on like a bag of cereal as opposed to dough. We have him with two lemons that he slams together like Stone Cold's beers, but they're by his pelvis, so it's supposed to be his balls. So I guess it's him slamming his nuts together. Maybe he's into cock and ball torture. And then he fingers the lemon and sips from it. It's got a lot of moving parts to it. I may not be the most experienced chef, and I may not be much of a baker, but I can promise you the recipe for the dessert he's making absolutely calls for all of this. How are you expected to make a passionate dessert filled with love if you're not spanking the devil out of your ingredients and then like rubbing your nuts on it while fingering it? I saw people accusing him of lubing up his body, oiling himself up for those back shots that he put in there. But you guys are clearly just not experienced when it comes to dessert making. That's how much you sweat when making high quality desserts. It's a physically demanding sport, up there with like boxing and, you know, basketball. So he was just sweating profusely as he was crafting away, blood, sweat, and tears for this dessert that he made. Man, what a crazy fucking TikTok account. Yeah, I just wanted to share this. Pretty wacky stuff. That's about it. See ya. Isn't this the, who do you think you are, I am guy? I know it is. Is this where it comes from?
Please stop moving while I'm on my approach. That's all I ask.
Classic Pete.
It's much more fun listening to
Would you please stop moving in my approach?
Not good when you have the,
I don't know what's hard about that to understand.
Yeah, let's go,
don't know
Pete.
who he's looking at.
My man.
he's got the rabbit here.
Hands is what he's talking to. Somebody
3
moving
times
his,
now.
Go beat their ass,
Move
Pete.
again, I want to move.
trying to move to the.
You son of a bitch! I heard you breathing. I heard you breathing during my approach.
We're a long way
You
off
sick
from him,
fuck.
so I don't think he heard me talking.
I'm taking cover.
That's it. I'm coming over. I'm ripping your dick off. And I'm putting it in my mouth.
I'm ducking.
Yeah.
Move again.
Pete's ornery.
Yeah, if you move again, Pete'll make sure you never move again.
Really irritated with somebody
He'll
over
break
there
your
to
fucking
the
legs
right
with a
side.
baseball bat.
They're absolutely in stiff jackets.
Bullshit of Pete? Of pussy ass Pete? No
Stood
way.
up all day. That
Really?
10.
Do that again.
He is still talking.
Do something, Pete. Climb over there and fucking rip at his goddamn nipples.
Are we watching a bowling match or a
I
boxing
don't
match?
know
What's going
what-
on?
Oh, it's about to be a fucking street fight with Pete. This guy's a warrior.
It's called sportsmanship, pal.
I wish we knew who he was talking to.
We've
Somebody's-
been watching.
He's
over there.
having
I don't know
a
who it is,
psychosis
but
episode,
he
I think.
can't. I don't know who it is he's talking to.
Somebody's rooting against Pete over there on that side.
No, they're not.
And they
Who is it? It looks like fucking stock characters in an old video game in the stands of Madden or something. It's just blank expressions across the board. Nobody is rooting against Pete. Pete is seeing his own demons somewhere over here. I don't know. Shit, I wish I didn't skip the first minute. I missed crucial lore, but we'll go back. We'll rewind the clock.
So Pete Weber gets the spare.
Uh-oh.
To claim it.
That was a threat from Pete.
Claim it.
Are you kidding me? That's right. Who do you think you are? I am.
That's the classic line right there, baby. That's Pete. But now I have context. I don't know who he was mad at, but with that last line, he killed them. Who do you think you are? I am, baby. I want to see what led up to this.
Opening shot, higher seat.
Who do I think I am? You are. Let's go, Pete.
Forces Weber to begin.
Woo!
And a 4-pin.
PBA players yelling and raging. How often does this happen in professional bowling?
Go through it. Take that, you bottle bitch! Come on!
What?
Everybody, come on! Let's
You
go.
bottle bitch? What does that mean?
Hey, good job up there. I see you. Good job up there. A lot of class, pal.
You're a bowler. What do you mean? The only reason they're there is because they're probably drunk and went to the wrong place.
I'm telling you, don't do it.
I like it. I like this.
Oh boy.
He didn't tell me there was going to be violence.
She flashes that camera again on my approach.
You said this on the podcast.
What?
I hear it. Take that, you bottle bitch!
Wait, was she flashing her tits at the camera or something? Why would you be mad about that?
Let's go!
Ooh, stink. Big stink on that one. Bad, very bad.
in the pavilion.
The worst of Pete Weber. This is not Pete Weber going wild, it's just him doing shitty.
Just a touch high.
This sucks. Yeah, I guess it's just Pete Weber doing bad. I just want to see Pete Weber going nuts. Pete Weber tells Madison he's been intimate with other women. Wait, Pete Weber the bowler?
I'm trying so hard to
Oh, please God. Tell me he was on The
put
Bachelor.
myself in your shoes.
Son of a bitch. Who's that guy? Who do you think you are? Pete is. God damn it, I got clickbaited. TikTok's such a weird place. I'm sure most of you have seen the trend that's existed since the inception of the platform where thirsty teenagers make those videos like, I would be a bad boyfriend because I'd love you too much, or you shouldn't date me because I just love you too much. You'd be suffocated with my overwhelming love. You know, shit like that. It's super weird. It's like romance to them is like it is in anime. It's just super fucking goofy. But today someone sent me a link to a guy, an Adonis, really. And I took one look at this man and I said, yeah, this guy fucks. And then it turns out he doesn't. A lot of his videos are just about relationships and why he's not in one, and why he would be a shitty boyfriend. And it's the cliche thing I mentioned where he's like, I'm too much of a lover. My love is too powerful for mere mortals to understand and tolerate. I would literally murder someone with love. I would fuck their butthole with love, and you're not ready for it. Thus, I have to be single.
Everybody wants to know why I'm single, and these are some reasons why. If I was your boyfriend, I would be very overprotective. Like, no one's talking to you but me. I would want to hang out all the time. Like, I want to be with you. I would FaceTime you and text you constantly, and then you would probably end up getting annoyed.
Bro, I'm not even dating you and I'm ready to break up. He's just actually listing off red flags and giving legitimate reasons why he would fucking suck to be in a relationship with. It's supposed to be one of those cutesy videos where girls are supposed to have their heart melt like, aw, he's single because he's so caring. But his just comes across as, wow, I can totally see why he's single with this kind of shit. It almost just sounds like threats like, hey, if we're dating, you're not talking to anyone but me. Your parents? Nope, we're cutting them out. Your imaginary friend? I'm gonna go in there and fucking murder him. You are only gonna communicate with me. Thus, I have to lock you in the basement to make sure that you don't betray me and talk to somebody that's not me.
I want everyone to know. Like, I want all my friends, all your friends, my family, your family. I want everyone to know that we're together. So those are some reasons why I'm single.
You know, to be honest, I actually can't believe that he's single. These aren't the worst qualities in the world. Yeah, you know, maybe it's a bit clingy, but it could be worse. He could be addicted to ketamine. Maybe he is, but he didn't mention it here. And if this is all that's wrong with him here, hey, maybe it's worth the chance.
A message for all ladies. All right, ladies, listen. Any guy you date should see you as a priority, not an afterthought. If a guy can only text you how he feels, he doesn't feel anything. If a guy's not willing to show you off, you can show him the door. If all they want to do is play Fortnite, you tell them good night.
Actually, pretty good advice here, I have to admit. If your man just wants to play Fortnite, you just tell him night-night, and then you go and turn yourself into the police because you were dating a child, you sick fuck.
Yes.
I'm wet. Panties are sodden. God damn it, he's the perfect man. Jesus Christ. You'll notice that there's like a striking similarity between the things that would make him a good boyfriend and the things that also make him a bad boyfriend. It's basically just the same thing. He's obsessive. Like, he will literally always be there. Like the boogeyman under your bed, making sure that you're sleeping soundly. If you date me, I'm slapping that fucking phone out of your hand, trying to talk to somebody that's not me, you naughty harpy. The fuck do you think you're doing? I'm always there to hype you up. You want to do something? You do it and I'll be there to cheer you on. As long as it's just me there, cheering you on.
Reasons why I'm a bad boyfriend. I always want kisses and hugs. Like, even if it's random, no matter what time, I always want them. I always want to give you anything and everything. Like, even if I don't have it, I just want to give it to you. I don't want you to pay for anything. Even if I don't have enough money, I want to spoil you. Dinners, movie, anything, I want to pay for it. I won't let you. I want to show you off. I'm gonna post about you. Even if you don't want me to do it, I can't help it. I want to show you off, baby. I will always put you before me. Even if you're having a great day and I'm not, I will just hype your day up, and I won't tell you about how bad my day was. But those are some reasons why I'm a bad boyfriend.
Oh my god, it's so dreamy. You don't want me to post about you? That's too fucking bad. I'm putting your nudes on Twitter because I'm so proud of you, baby. You got a great body. Those ass cheeks and the way that they can clap. Oh my god, the world needs to know. I'm gonna show you off, baby. I feel bad singling this guy out because, like I said, it's so common. So many people on TikTok do this exact same shit. Like, I'm such a bad boy. I would take you to a drive-thru and I wouldn't let you pay for your meal because I'm bad. I'd be a bad boyfriend. But the reason I chose him is because he has whole compilations dedicated to these videos because he's done so many of them. And it just made it easy to have like a nice cum dumpster full of these bad versus good boyfriend things. So anyway, I just wanted to briefly touch on this because I think it's super weird. I know it's not like uncommon for people to be like, I'm actually super shitty in being in relationships because I'm just too goddamn nice. Nice guys don't win, am I right, girls? Yeah, I see a lot of that shit, and then this is kind of the same thing. Like, I'm a bad boyfriend because I just want to love a girl, and girls don't want to be loved. They want an asshole douchebag, so I'd be a bad boyfriend. I see it all over the place, and this guy, he's just done it so many times, I figured it'd be a good example to talk about the trend and go into detail on it. Yeah, so that's really about it. So yeah. A few nights ago on stream, I watched a little bit of a video called I Got Divorced Over Yu-Gi-Oh! And I went into it, you know, like lollipop and spinny hat, thinking it was going to be like good, silly fun. Like I thought it was like an exaggeratory title where he was telling a story about how his wife walked in like Seto Kaiba and ripped his blue eyes. And then he said, enough is enough. We'll play a shadow game to decide the fate of our marriage. And then they divorced or something. But the reality is, it's a very honest and open look at an unhealthy relationship, and it's one that I went back and finished the video for and have been thinking about since. So in a nutshell, this guy had a YouTube channel that was dedicated to Yu-Gi-Oh! And he was actually paying his bills through the content he was making. So it's not like this was a hobby that was destructive to him. You know, he wasn't going out on the streets and selling his butt for Yu-Gi-Oh! Briefcases of cards. Like, he was making a living through Yu-Gi-Oh! And his YouTube channel, but his wife didn't really like it. She didn't have any respect for it, and it basically boiled down to he married like his number one hater. And she eventually wore him down enough to the point where he did abandon the hobby and his YouTube channel because she just thought it was kind of cringe, I guess. Like, I'm not saying in every healthy relationship your partner has to, you know, get into whatever hobby you're into, but at the very least, the bare minimum is being understanding and supportive of it. Like, I'm not saying she had to go out there and get a tier 0 deck or learn how to pendulum summon so she could start banishing assholes to the Shadow Realm, but maybe don't be constantly spitting and shitting on your husband for something that he's clearly passionate about and something that is actively making him money. I got divorced over Yu-Gi-Oh!
I need to say this. Let me just say it straight out the way. I am no longer married, and I'm divorced.
More time for Yu-Gi-Oh! You can grind. YCS pretty soon, I think. Can't remember when the next YCS is, but you got so much time now.
When I met this woman, and I told her about my Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff, she hated it. She didn't like it. She said that, hey, you can do something better with your life. You should go back to school.
All right, I hate that. Man, just let someone have hobbies. Like, who cares? It's not hurting anyone, not hurting you. It's nerdy, sure, who cares? It's a hobby. I bet she had stupid hobbies too. Everyone does.
I said, you know what? Maybe she's right. And you know what I did? I sold all my equipment. I sold my YouTube channel.
Whoa.
I sold all my camera stuff. I'm like, you know what? Maybe it is time to move on. Maybe it's time for me to do something better with my life. Not knowing that at that time, what I had was very special. At that time, something that I chose to do, YouTube, I gave it up because someone said, hey, you know what? Maybe it is time to move on. You got to do something better with your life.
There are times where someone's hobby is detrimental to them, whether it's financially draining or mentally draining. Like, that is a problem, and that's where you'd come in and say, like, hey, maybe it's time we look for something else, try a different path, and move on to something else. But that's not the case here. This guy had a channel, and his YouTube and Yu-Gi-Oh! Hobby were helping sustain him and pay bills. So her coming in there, fee-fi-fo-fumming around, marching up to him, saying, like, you gotta move on, makes no fucking sense. Like, that's so stupid. Just basically saying it's time to grow up. You know, this is a children's card game. We don't do this as adults. It's time you be a real man, a real adult, and start doing crypto scams. Like, it's just silly.
And she's no longer here. And this problem persists. She told me at that time, hey, you want to meet my mother? You need a car. Because I didn't have a car at the time. I was doing YouTube. I was working from home. I didn't need to drive anywhere.
Chasing the dream.
Yes, YouTube is what I did for a living. It's how I paid my bills. And I was street performing also. How did I street perform? I just catch the bus 20 minutes down the street, played my horn, went home. I never needed a car. Even though I explained to her, this is what I chose to do.
Why did she even come into your life then? It sounds like she didn't respect your hobbies, she didn't respect your drive, your passion, or anything. Why the fuck was she even here? Just to completely change you? That's sad. And there's definitely a limit too. Like, if you're obsessed with a hobby and it's actually a detriment on your life, which it doesn't sound like it was for him, then I can understand someone coming in and be like, all right, look, maybe we need to reevaluate this, maybe, collecting fucking, I don't know, jelly beans and putting all your money into antique jelly beans is, taking its toll. Maybe we should look at other things so you can get out of the house, you can start, finding something else. I get it. But it doesn't sound like it was to that point here. This is just sad. I imagine the channel was generating income. He just said he was paying his bills through YouTube and street performing. So he was making money. He was perfectly sustaining himself. At least that's the impression I get. She was probably embarrassed to tell her friends what he does for a living. Well, then don't be with him. If you're embarrassed of your significant other, why are you with them in the first place? That's on you if you don't respect them. Don't be with them. It's bad for both you and the partner. I feel like this probably happens a lot, although I've only seen it happen to one of my friends once, where he got with a girl that just really didn't like anything about him. Well, what are you doing there? Why are you choosing to be with this person if the goal is to change everything about them, to turn them into a blank canvas for you to paint on? That this doesn't make sense. Find someone that's more compatible with the things you like at that point. Like in this case, she comes in and she just doesn't like any of it. You're going to flush Yu-Gi-Oh down the shitter. You're going to go back to school. Honestly, it sounds like a mom that's trying to discipline their kid. Like, all right, no more Xbox. We're unplugging the Xbox and you're going to go to school twice as much now. Somehow we're going to find extra school for you to go to. It's just so fucking toxic. This guy was doing just fine. He was providing for himself through his passion, through his ambition, his hobbies, but it didn't fit what she thought was acceptable. So she goes in there and tries to force him to do all of it, and unfortunately succeeds where he does abandon his hobbies and his passion for her, for this relationship. And that just shouldn't have been a sacrifice that he was forced to make for the sake of the relationship. He didn't need to tribute summon his hobby in order to get his wife's appreciation for what she believes is an acceptable idea for an adult hobby. It was making money, it was paying his bills, and it's something he loved doing. Why change that? There's really no good argument I can think of for it. Sounds like she just hated Yu-Gi-Oh! She must have been more of a Digimon gal.
So, she hated those cards. She literally cried because of those cards. And people say, hey, priorities, man. It's your wife, or, you gotta do what you gotta do.
You tell me your wife was crying about Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
But then I'll be back at that point where I'm giving up things that I like, things that's a part of my life for someone else to feel happy. And I feel miserable in the process. I love that. I miss that. Why can't she come along with my journey instead of scrutinizing me? And then that's money gone from me. It's not about the money, but that was money gone from me.
That was his career. Man, what a disaster. What a shame. Imagine your Yu-Gi-Oh passion being so epic it makes your wife cry. My husband has mastered the shadow games. Damn! Fuck! I'd want nothing more than my partner loving their job, man. I'd cry tears of joy. I imagine that's how it works in most healthy relationships, brother. I feel like it's kind of important to have, respect. You know what I mean? I feel like that's kind of basic. He triggered her trap card of divorce. Now, another thing I was thinking about when I went back and watched the whole video is that there is a time where a hobby becomes too consuming, where it starts straining the relationship. Maybe he was always fiddling around with those Yu-Gi-Oh cards, by candlelight in a dark room, and scratching at his neck for more Yu-Gi-Oh cards and ignoring his wife and letting the relationship start to crumble around him because it's always Yu-Gi-Oh all the time. But I don't think that was the case here. And you'll see why I think that in a moment, the more he explains about how it got to that point. And it's not all about Yu-Gi-Oh! He does talk about how a big part of his life has always been music and street performing, and even that wasn't acceptable to her or her parents, really.
I met the parents. They asked me, hey, what do you do for a living? I had to tell them I am a musician. I couldn't tell them I was a street musician. I am a musician. Then they said, hey, you have a degree? I said, I don't have a degree. My ex-wife parents did not speak to me for 2 years and told her not to marry me because I don't have a degree.
That's fucking brutal, and to me, it blows my little noodle because this guy was doing so fine on his own. He was paying all of his bills. He was living just fine with the money he was making through Yu-Gi-Oh! YouTube content and street performing music. And he'll talk about it in a moment, he was making enough money where he could provide for both himself and his wife through those passions. Yet they wanted him to just burn it all to the ground, fucking salt the earth so he could restart with what they think is acceptable, which was going back to school to get a degree and getting a 9-to-5 job. Both things that he did do. Well, he got the 9-to-5 job and attempted school, but school wasn't working out super well for him. But he did everything for that relationship to try and make her happy and be like an acceptable partner in his ex-wife's parents' eyes.
So I give up this YouTube thing. I give up my entrepreneur thing. I try to do something that's not innately a part of my strengths at all because I'm thinking I'm in love to do something for somebody to prove something. So when we got married and we moved out to Baltimore to somewhere else that I didn't want to be, she said, hey, how come you're not paying the bills? And I was like, what? I have a job. I have a 9-to-5 job. I don't make enough from this 9-to-5 job to pay all these bills. Before then, I could street performing in YouTube. I made enough money off of that to pay the bills. Now I'm working 9-to-5 all day long, and that's not a complaint because there are people who do that. But I had something that most people wish they had.
He's right. He had the dream job. He literally had the wet dream most people wish they had, which is their hobby, their passion, being able to sustain them. So they don't have to do something that makes them miserable just to survive. And he says, like, he gave all of that up for her and this relationship, and that new shiny 9-to-5 that he got, all to please his wife because she believed that that was the only real way to grow up and, you know, move on from Yu-Gi-Oh! And street performing music. Well, that 9-to-5 couldn't pay the bills for both of them. And that's the unfortunate reality of where America is right now. I've talked about this a lot. The normal salary you make at like a 9-to-5, you can't fucking live off of that in like a 2-person household. That just, it's impossible. Things are way too expensive, especially in certain locations. It's just not happening. It's an absolute shame. It's a fucking crime. I'm not going to just rant about that. I've done that plenty on stream. He had a job that could do that. Like, he had a job people kill over. And she just didn't like it. Found it cringe, I guess. Wasn't proud of his hobby and that job that was making him money. So forced is the wrong word because he mentions as well, he made the choice. He ultimately chose to get rid of all of that for her, but she was pushing him to do it, and now he's miserable with this 9-to-5, and she's not happy because that 9-to-5 isn't able to pay all of the bills.
She says, hey, you need to find a hobby. I'm like, oh, let me play Yu-Gi-Oh! Again. So, last December, last year, I start my channel up again. I buy my channel back from Java. Like, oh, she gave me the okay to go into a hobby. You know what she said? You're spending too much time playing those cards. She says, why are you into those cards so much? I said, hey, I need to make a video about something.
After selling everything and starting over, he does eventually get back into Yu-Gi-Oh! To a certain extent where he picks up the hobby again, but his wife still just hates that the hobby he picked up was Yu-Gi-Oh! And YouTube. So he goes on to say how She just really didn't like it. That's when he gets into saying how she would like actually cry over Yu-Gi-Oh! And that's where I was saying, like, if it was completely consuming his whole life, where he was ignoring her and everything in the relationship was starting to just dwindle because he was too preoccupied with Yu-Gi-Oh!, I'd understand it. But from what I'm seeing and like going back to his channel, it doesn't seem like that was really the case. He was talking about how since he'd been away from the game for an extended period of time, he needed to relearn it. He needed to catch up on all the new things with Yu-Gi-Oh! So he could make content around it. So he'd be able to be knowledgeable on it, which is perfectly understandable, I'd say. And it doesn't seem like he took it to an excessive degree. It's his passion, it's his hobby, it's what he wanted to do, and it's what he was doing, so he wanted to get back to it. He recognized just how much of a gift being able to do that and make money off of it was, and he wanted that back. So he was getting back into the hobby. She still really hated it. One thing led to another, and now they're no longer together. And it seems like the big reason is because of Yu-Gi-Oh! The deeper issue is that she had absolutely no respect for his passion, and she wasn't supportive and seemed like was embarrassed of him. So it's two people that should have never been together in the first place. He gave up everything he loved to try and make her happy, but she was never really happy with the man that he actually is. So it's just very incompatible, and they tried to make it work, and it didn't work. And both people, I think, were not happy as a result of the relationship. Hopefully going forward, they both find better partners. Hopefully this guy's starting over on his YouTube channel. Luckily, he was able to buy it back. Hopefully he is able to find that success that he once had. And yeah, just kind of wanted to talk about it because I just found it to be one of the more honest videos I've seen on the platform about a subject like this. So yeah, that's really about it. So yeah. Hello there. I'm Buckman Cream. During the day, I'm a professional rim job therapist, but by night, I'm a contender for the world's best breath holder. I've always believed that people were put on this planet with a purpose, a higher calling, and I've finally found mine. I've trained my whole life to be the world's best breath holder, to be the top athlete in this sport. My family was never supportive of this career path. My father used to laugh in my face and tell me to hold his nuts. Well, who's laughing now, Dad? I won't hold those nuts, but I will hold my breath. I've put my body through the world's toughest workout programs, trained with the best in the business. I've studied every discipline of martial arts. I've trained like an Olympian for years leading up to today. I've eaten nothing but kale, protein bars, protein shakes, all in preparation for when I would finally take this world record. The current world record is 22 minutes and 22 seconds. I would have broken it last year, but I was ineligible for competition due to injecting bath salts. I'm clean now, and I'm ready to get back in the action. So buckle your seatbelts, 'cause I'm coming in hot. World record's 22 minutes. Game time. That was close. Personal best. Look. There's like a bunch of like soap scum and like dish shit in there. It was burning my eyes and mouth. It's close. I'm gonna try again. Oh my god. I should have cleaned that out better. Oh great. Dirty dish towel too. Looks like some dirty water. That's okay. Holy shit. I don't have a wetsuit, so I'm using a Care Bear suit that I dressed as for Halloween as a substitute. Right, start the timer now. Water's really hot. That's okay. Start the timer again. Oh my god. What kind of sewage is being pumped through this apartment complex. We'll chalk this one up to needs more training and practice. I'll get that world record one day. Buck Man Cream signing out. A little waterlogged over here. Can you grab me a towel? Christmas is a very special time of year, a time where families gather together and all eagerly await the arrival of the jolliest old asshole this flat earth has ever seen. Whether you're an adult feeding your wife the old St. Nicholas or a child eagerly awaiting the arrival of some black market V-Bucks under your Christmas tree. I think it's safe to say everyone of all ages enjoys the holiday, and we all already know the story of Christmas, Santa Claus being an angel that was cast out from heaven and trapped in the North Pole by a mystical spell, but once a year at 3 a.m. on December 25th the magic weakens and he's able to travel via reindeer on his sleigh and deliver presents to good boys and girls, and all across the globe families leave out milk and pussy for Santa to come eat. But what you probably don't realize is just how unrealistic it is to travel via reindeer and wiggle a fat ass down a chimney. That's not exactly how it would work. So luckily there's been some mall Santas that developed this trend of rappelling down, showcasing what it would be like if Santa Claus was like a fucking secret agent and doing this for real. So this is my favorite holiday tradition. I made a video on this 2 years ago, but I want to talk about it again because it's still fucking great. For a little while, a bunch of mall Santas were rappelling down from the top of the mall to the, Santa stand where people go to tell them what they want. And never did it work. Every single time the Santa Claus got fucking stranded mid-rappelling, and it's just a joy to watch, and it really captures the Christmas spirit. So let me show you a couple. No, that's not Rudolph, and that's not Santa Claus. Those are two U.S. Marines in disguise.
Who is that? Santa! What are you doing up there, Santa? The North Pole, Santa. I'll be down in just a minute. Oh.
Looks like Santa Claus is about to commit suicide here and just throw himself over the railing and onto the children down below. And that little helping elf right there is not an elf, it's a devil in disguise trying to push him over the ledge.
Everybody watch, everybody cheer him on. Go Santa! Oh, be right there. Go Santa! I'm coming. Oh, here he goes. Oh.
You gotta feel bad for the voice actor doing the Santa over the intercom, because all he can do is moan to stall for time as the Santa actor is doing his stunt. But I can also guarantee you, these naive kids didn't know that Santa Claus was once a U.S. Navy SEAL with over 500 confirmed presents delivered.
Go Santa! Just a second, you guys be able to see Santa and tell him what you want for Christmas.
Oh, Santa's getting the okay. Fuck yeah, it's that Christmas magic coming in hot. Yes! Oh god! Fucking teabagging the crowd below. This is just what I wanted, Santa's nutsack for Christmas. Yeah, baby! Woohoo! Oh god! He's fucking hanging himself. Oh, Jesus Christ! No, it's not Santa Claus at all, it's Jeffrey Epstein! You old bastard, you! I've been saying it all along and people are telling me I'm crazy. Jeffrey Epstein didn't commit suicide. He just killed Santa and wore his cloak and became the new Santa Claus like Tim Allen in those Santa Claus movies. I like this one a lot because I have the fucking police sirens and shit blaring, making it seem like Santa is a hunted fugitive, and they're asking if anyone's seen him, just trying to weed out some snitches. Then all of a sudden Santa Claus comes rappelling down the top turnbuckle. But unfortunately St. Nicholas's grand escape was foiled as the police were one step ahead of him by waiting for him down below. Yeah, unfortunately, just like the last rappelling adventure, this Santa Claus gets stranded as well, but this time he gets stranded because his beard kind of gets caught in there, and then he starts slitting his own throat with the fucking cables here. And as things get more and more desperate, the U.S. military gets involved to try and execute this search and rescue mission for him, so things really pick up here in a second.
Oh no, he hasn't got the rope stuck
Sweet Jesus Christ, it couldn't be. Is that everyone's favorite superstar Christmas character, G.I. Joe Man, Santa's sidekick? I think it is. But yeah, eventually, he gets his beard untangled, cuts that shit down, and saves Christmas for the little boys and girls everywhere. That rope was the Grinch, and that soldier is the man who saved Christmas. I have alarming news. My beautiful city of Tampa Bay is on high alert as we are being ravaged by a loose cannon degenerate who is preying upon female real estate agents by pretending to be interested in purchasing property so that he can caress their feet.
You will only see right here on 10 Tampa Bay. Realtors are now speaking out after sharing posts like these online. They say a man suspected of having a foot fetish is reportedly targeting women real estate agents by booking fake home tours and open house showings.
Pound for pound, it really seems like foot fetishists have the most criminals. Like, of every fetish that exists on this planet, I feel like we see foot fetishists being the ones that are most aggressive and most insatiable with their appetite for their fix. I just see it in the headlines all the time. Like, just a week ago on stream, we learned about this dweeb, the Nevada foot fondler, which sounds like a terrible DC villain, who was recently arrested for breaking into multiple women's homes and rubbing their feet and legs while they slept. Like he was trying to get a genie out of a lamp. He would go in and rub their feet, and they finally caught him. And there's a body cam of them confronting him as well. He literally looks like a caricature you'd picture in your head if I told you about the Nevada foot fondler. Now, I don't know if he's busted out of Arkham Asylum and now terrorizing Tampa Bay, or if there really is just that many foot fetishist criminals that just keep spawning in. It is crazy, though.
That's right, Dave and Frank. Several realtors are sharing this very similar story of a man inappropriately touching their leg or foot while they are working. And the earliest as far back as July in Pinellas County, and as recently as last week during another showing in Manatee County.
He's been at large for quite some time now. This is far from his first rodeo. They haven't caught him. There's not even a lot of information about who he is. I imagine they don't have any pictures or any real information on him, considering he makes these fake bookings and then going to open houses. So it's not like they're vetting him when he arrives and does this. So he's just this man of mystery who probably retreats into the sewers like fucking Master Splinter. And he just comes out anytime there's an open house like the fucking boogeyman to go and touch the female realtor's legs and feet. Now, after doing a little more digging, it turns out they actually do know information about this guy, but they're not releasing it because he hasn't been formally charged or arrested on any of this at the moment. But I would make an argument that by not informing potential victims here, realtors, of who this is, it puts them at risk because he will continue to go terrorize open houses or booking these house tours with the realtors where he might do this again. If they don't know who he is, how are they going to avoid him and stay safe away from him? You know what I mean? And that's one of the things the story talks about, just avoid this guy. Well, how if they don't know who it is? Unless they're privately sharing that information with every realtor in the local area. I guess perhaps they're just not releasing it publicly on the news, maybe. I don't really know.
That time, he, pointed down at my feet and was like, "Oh, you have an ant on your shoe." And I was like, "Where?" And I'm frantic trying to get the ant off my shoe. And I'm like, "Where?" And he's like, "Right there, right there."
Real estate agent Angela Julian didn't realize that was just a trick.
He bends down and he starts unbuckling my shoe and caressing my foot, and I just thought that was really weird. At the same time, he's fidgeting with his phone, petting my foot, fidgeting phone, and I think he's trying to take some type of a video up my skirt. It was really alarming.
That was just one of his many tricks in the John Madden playbook he uses to get his fix of foot fondling. So she's recounting this in this story where he came up and said "Oh, there's an ant on your shoe." So she was kind of freaking out, and he's like, "Don't worry, I'm the hero here. I'll take care of this." And he goes down and then just starts taking off her shoe, and I can already just hear the fedora tip he does as he says, "M'lady, I've got this taken care of. No need to fear," as he goes down there and then just starts worshipping her foot while trying to film with the other hand or some shit. I'm surprised she didn't just reflexively kick him in the face, like breaking his nose. I don't know how he squeaked out of this situation with no injuries and no handcuffs. I'm assuming she was just like really fearful of this, because I think most people would be. That's a pretty alarming thing to just have happen out of nowhere when you're going to do like a fucking house tour for what you think is an interested buyer in the property you're listing. And then for something like this to unfold, that's probably the last thing anyone really expects. Anyway, like I mentioned earlier, it feels like this has happened a lot with feet in particular. Like, that fetish, for some reason, leads to things like this more frequently than a lot of others. I understand it's more on the common side of fetishes, but even still, like, some of the most outrageous ones you won't even hear about, like, producing this many criminals. Like, fucking piss fetishists. You never see a headline with them in a case like this. Like, you never heard about, like, the piss patriot who goes to open house showings in order to con realtors into urinating on him. Like, one of his strategies, similar to this guy, like, "Oh, help, a jellyfish just stung me in the chest," rips off his shirt. "I need you to piss on it to neutralize the sting, quick!"
First unaware of the violation, now at least more than a half dozen women coming forward to share stories of their encounter with the strange man that's left them feeling vulnerable.
Very vulnerable. Instantly, you can sense that something's not quite right, but you can't really put your finger on it.
He's searching Zillow. He's using everything that everyone has public access to see when and where people are going to be.
I imagine this guy's got a setup similar to like Charles Xavier with Cerebro. He's just got like Zillow listings everywhere in the Tampa/St. Petersburg area, and he's looking for open houses so he can go there and touch the realtor's feet. Assuming, of course, they are female, because it doesn't seem like he's targeting male realtors at all.
And that is concerning.
Les Haynes, who runs a group for Tampa area realtors, says up to 30 people can show up for a single open house, with many unvetted. That's why he's advising realtors to prioritize their safety.
If you are carrying a firearm, you need firearm safety, you need practice. It is not buying a gun on a shelf and thinking you're going to be Annie Oakley.
They mention about how a lot of people that attend these open houses, they don't have like background checks or anything. They're not like vetted. It's just people that see it's an open house and they come in. That's the whole fucking point of an open house. It's just kind of fishing to see if there's anyone in the area that happens to drive by that might be interested in the property. So there isn't like a whole lot of procedure behind like getting information on everyone that shows up, which is why he's able to stay so under the radar and why it doesn't seem like there's any information about him. Now, this guy is mentioning how important it is to like prioritize safety as a realtor, especially with someone like this out there. So he's talking about firearms, which the Tampa toe tickler probably just got a lot of sweat on his fucking brow right there hearing that.
Have an escape route, have maybe some pepper spray or something that you can grab and get to in an emergency to protect yourself.
And tonight, some of those women have now reported their encounters to area law enforcement, including Clearwater Police just confirming an incident in September. They say if you're a realtor and someone behaves like this or this particular person shows up at your listing, first make sure you get yourself safely out of harm's way and then call 911 immediately.
So since this weirdo is known to authorities, it is now just a matter of, are they going to do anything about him? Are there going to be charges pressed against him for these many acts of caressing people's feet without their consent? So I'm going to keep my eyes peeled to see if they finally do take in the Tampa toe tickler. And, well, that's really about it right now. If you're a realtor watching this, just be careful out there, because he's still off the leash. That's really about it. See ya. The other day on stream, I read about a story that's been weighing on my mind ever since. I can't stop thinking about it just because of how ridiculous it is, so I want to share it with all of you. It was a road rage incident in New Zealand, and at this point in my life, I feel like New Zealand is a second home to me because Troy, the other half of the Gentlemen, our music project, lives there. He is a born and raised Kiwi, and I keep up with a lot of New Zealand news, so when I see stories like this, there's like a sense of like disappointment and dread, like, come on, New Zealand, you're better than this. But anyway, in this road rage incident, the driver of a vehicle got very upset at a dog walker, so much so that he grabbed a sword from his car and started trying to carve him up with it, basically. He hit him with like a Mortal Kombat 1 Kinshi fatality. He left him with nearly fatal injuries. It was a miracle that the victim survived, thanks to timely intervention from his son. And it's worth noting that the Last Samurai here did this with his wife and child in the vehicle, nearly murdered a man in front of them over absolutely nothing. But what makes this story stand out as an affront to God is the fact that the judge ruled that the punishment for the attacker would be 10 months of home detention and 100 hours of community service. He literally said, "Go home, Buster. That's it." No, it's a complete miscarriage of justice here. He gets grounded after nearly murdering a man with a fucking sword. Like, he's been studying the blade, unleashes his forbidden jutsu here, like Demon Slayer shit. He gets out his degenerate breathing techniques, nearly kills this guy in cold blood, and the judge says, "You're grounded." That's crazy to me. He got the same punishment a high school student would if his parents caught him with weed. Like, it blows my mind that he can almost murder somebody with a fucking sword in an act that the judge fully recognizes was madness, cowardly, nearly fatal, and recognizes the severity of it, and then still says, "Just go home." I don't know. The whole thing is baffling, so I just want to share this story with all of you because it is a weird one. You read about the Tesla driver who sliced another driver with a samurai sword in road rage in New Zealand. Man got him with the Bushido arts. Jesus Christ. No, I did not see that. Samurai sword road rage. Man gets home detention for callous and cowardly attack on dog walker. A motorist who... Here, I'll just pull it up on stream. This sounds crazy. A motorist who took a samurai sword to a dog walker in an Auckland road rage incident has been sentenced to home detention. It's not like punishment. Go home. A man was left with chunks of flesh and bone carved out of him after a brutal attack where a driver got out of his car and attacked him with a sword, leaving the pedestrian bleeding in a ditch. The victim, who was walking his dog, survived the attack thanks to his son, who found him and gave him first aid. But the seriousness of the injuries sustained by the victim have left the tradie with lifelong injuries and unable to work. Much to the dismay of the victim's family, Judge Meena Warpuri on Tuesday announced Darren Clark to 10 months home detention, 100 hours of community work, and to pay $5,000 after pleading guilty to causing grievous bodily harm with intent to injure. That's not justice. That's a joke. What in the world? Ruin this guy's life with a samurai sword, and he gets 100 hours of community service and 10 months at home. That's crazy. That's actually insano-style nonsense. Judge Warpuri said the attack was both premeditated and impulsive, but that injuries weren't foreseeable as he had struck him with the scabbard on the blade. Like, just look at what he's saying. In handing down his sentence, Judge Warpuri praised the actions of the victim's son. Without his timely intervention, it is highly likely your victim would have succumbed to blood loss and died from injuries, and yet the person who perpetrated the attack only gets house arrest for 10 months? I want to go over the severity of the attack here, because it's brutal. So let's go ahead and read about exactly what happened and what the effects were, because the victim's life has forever changed. He can now no longer even do the job that he was doing prior to the attack. The victim was 55 at the time of the attack, and he spotted Clark's Tesla approaching. He stood in the middle lane, motioning for the vehicle to slow down, and tapped the Tesla's roof with his palm as Clark steered the vehicle around him. Clark had his wife and young children with him in the car. He stopped the vehicle, grabbed the sheathed samurai sword, which he claimed to keep in the vehicle for protection, which is a wild thing for protection. Usually it's like a baseball bat or something. This man, for some reason, must have watched one anime and said, "That's better than a baseball bat," and then made the switch. But anyway, he gets his sword, he starts swinging the weapon in a downward directional angle, which he described to police as being 50% force. I swear to God, this guy is actually just a weeb. Now he's just making up things. I was only using 50% of my power. He's lucky I didn't go Ultra Instinct plus Ultra on his ass. But it was enough to shatter the sheath on impact and inflict major damage as it sliced through the victim's upper body. He suffered a deep laceration to his neck, down to the bone, without hitting the spinal cord. The complainant's jaw was broken and his facial muscles and nerves were severed. The sword also cleaved a large chunk of flesh and bone from his left shoulder, which required emergency surgery and skin grafts, and also severed tendons in his left hand. The victim then fell into the ditch on the side of the road and Clark drove away. He tried to call for help but was unable to unlock his phone because of all the blood. He was found minutes later by his son who was driving home. And then it talks about the lasting effects. He still suffers facial drooping, speech impediment, ringing in his ears, and can't fully lift his arm because of the severed tendons, which means he can no longer work the profession he dedicated his adult life to. And that profession was an electrician, from what I've read. So his life has forever changed as a result of this. And the attacker, his life was basically a vacation. He just stays at home for 10 months. Like, that's something people do on purpose, like, for fun. Like, that's just, I don't know, that blows my mind. So apparently the reason they were so light on the sentencing here is because the attacker argued he didn't know that the scabbard broke, and when his wife told him that she had seen a bunch of blood, he panicked, dropped his family off, who was crying and screaming because the young children in his car just witnessed their father go fucking psycho mode. So he claims he dropped them off after realizing the scabbard had broken. He went back to look for the victim, but paramedics and everyone had already shown up, and then he turned himself in. So they're saying that he's expressing deep remorse for what he's done here, and that's why it's so light on sentencing, but I don't think that changes anything. If this guy is fully capable of doing something like this, he's not safe to be around. He's not safe to be in the public like this. For something so small, like having the roof of your Tesla tapped to nearly kill a man over it, is ridiculous. Like, I understand the sword was sheathed at the time, but it doesn't take a lot to break that, clearly. And even still, even if it's sheathed, hitting someone with a blunt object, like a sword sheath, is also enough to kill someone as well. But man, they really put a lot of stock into apologies in New Zealand court, it seems, because that was cited here, that he wrote like a letter of apology, and man, that must have been the most beautifully written letter of all time, up there with some of Shakespeare's best work, in order to get out of a serious sentence for nearly murdering someone. But yeah, I've been thinking about this story a lot just because I still can't fully process why the sentencing would be so light on something so severe and so mad and brutal. But yeah, I just wanted to share this story with all of you because I've thought about it a lot recently, and that's really about it. So yeah.